Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and this is episode 56 in my Automate Everything Minecraft series. In today's episode, I am going to be working with 4 smaller fusion reactors that I am building, and they will all be using different combinations of fuels that I have not yet used, including one fusion reactor purposefully set up to be kind of crappy. So what I have done is I have them built up here, and if you'll notice, they actually share some of the electromagnets. And I believe that is allowed, and if it's not, I'll figure that out in just a little bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the 4th reactor on camera, and just so you can see exactly how I have all of the electromagnets basically working together. So let's get started. First off, the fusion reactor goes right here. Let's build the initial ring. And actually, before I even really start doing that, we can see that right here, that it does show that the ring is complete, because if it's not, it says ring incomplete here. But these reactors all say electromagnets not powered, which hopefully means that the electromagnets are allowed to be in this configuration, wherein that they are shared, or at least some of them are shared by multiple reactors. So yeah, I'm gonna continue and really hope that they're allowed. Anyways, so and these reactors are the smallest allowed reactors. They are a toroid size 1. My other fusion reactors that I have going right now are size 5. So these reactors are much smaller, and that was just so I could fit 4 of them side by side by side by side. Okay, so that's most of that. Now we just need to do the top. And then we'll just need to run some flux duct, and then we'll have everything almost, or getting close to being ready to go. Okay, so let's get our flux duct, and I probably have way too much of this stuff in my inventory, but whatever. So, and this all needs to be inside here. And I did not mean to do that. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually wrench these not these connections, my bad. Okay, so let's just do that. I want to wrench these connections away so that this is not feeding the reactor. Actually, I don't necessarily totally need to do that, but whatever. And so that's almost complete. What I need to do now is these corner blocks, they need power, so how I have those set up. Oh, and I don't have this set up. Should probably do this as well. Otherwise, these electromagnets won't have power. Okay, so this should be the last one that'll need power. Now what? Nope. I lied again. And I did that wrong. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, didn't need to do that. Okay, okay, so I think I have everything all ready to go. I just need to get them power. And thankfully, I have most of my conduit run over here. And so what I can do is I can do that. And these electromagnets should get power relatively quickly. Cool. So it looks like these reactors are almost ready to go. Now, the next thing I need to do is 2 of them, these 2 right here, do not have fuel in them. The other 2 do. I was just making sure beforehand that my whole fueling system was going to work. So what I need to do is I need to extend this fluid conduit, and I think the easiest way to do that might be to go kind of ring around the rosy here, because what I mean by that is I have a run of fluid conduit that goes underneath these reactors and goes straight here. I might continue that run, bring it around, and then connect up with those 2 reactors. And that's because I can't hardly take it sideways over here this way, because I will have this flux duct and yet another flux duct that travels to the reactors from there. So I think the easiest way is just to kind of keep running it around. So actually the easiest way to do this might be to go down here and just destroy a string of blocks here. And I can get rid of this block because that block was sheerly there so that I could put this fusion reactor core. So let's grab our ender fluid conduit here, and I'm actually going to place these first. So, and I have plans for both these reactors, exactly what fuel combination I'm going to be using. I have most everything, to be honest, except the boron. So, yeah, most fuel types except for boron, because if we click here, there's hydrogen, deuterium, tritium, helium-3, lithium-6, lithium-7, and boron-11. I have everything except the boron-11 at this point. So obviously we're not going to be using the boron-11. What I'm going to do real quick is get rid of these connections because I won't be using them. And then, okay, so this reactor right here will be lithium-7 and lithium-7. And really quickly, let's tab out of that. And why I'm doing that is because lithium-7 requires a lot of heat, and it provides almost no power. And I'm doing that just to see if this reactor is completely unfeasible. At this point, I have a bunch of spare power, so it's not really a big deal. So let's go ahead and throw in fluid filters. And I actually don't need two connections on this one because I'm using lithium-7, lithium-7. So what I can do is on the insert, lithium-7. And I need to make sure to choose lithium-7 and not any of the other lithiums. And then I need to be extract always on. I'm not sure if I need speed upgrades or not, but I'm going to grab some. Just because this will be handling all of the throughput. Actually, you know what? I'm pretty sure I won't need them because the lithium-lithium field combination just goes really, really slow. And so I shouldn't have a whole lot of I/O in terms of liquid fuel and waste products. So I'm going to try it with none of the speed upgrades at first. And if I start seeing a backlog, then I will have to change that. Okay. So anyways, this reactor right here will be hydrogen and lithium-7. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because traditionally lithium-7 is a bad fuel, but with a few things, it's actually pretty decent. And one of those, oh, my bad. I said lithium-7, I meant lithium-6. Hydrogen lithium-6 is actually not a bad fuel combination. It provides a decent amount of power. In fact, the same, at least as of this very old version at this point of NuclearCraft, it provides the same amount of power as hydrogen. And actually, I do have more recent data. I have the actual NuclearCraft configs right here. And hydrogen lithium-6 provides 640, and it actually should be more than the hydrogen here. So we'll see if that's the case. Actually, we won't see if that's the case. I do not have a hydrogen fusion reactor that is the same size, so it's going to be hard to compare because my hydrogen reactor is not the same size. So okay, so what we need to do here is this one will not be extract, this one will be insert only. We will do lithium-6. Yes, lithium-6 here, that goes in there, and then this one will be in and out, extract always on with only hydrogen. Okay, so boom. Okay, so now we can go ahead and finish this connection here and run this conduit around. Actually, just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to turn this on because that changes the behavior of how the reactor accepts fluids, and I'm not sure if it'll work or not. Okay, it is. It's working perfect. Fantastic. And this one right here should have a bunch of lithium, and it's getting there. It's just taking its time. I think the liquid metals flow a little bit slower than the gases. Okay, so that's good. And then these other two reactors are, this one is deuterium and helium-3 because that is a really good fuel combination. And then this one is the best fuel combination, which is deuterium and tritium. So that's fantastic. And the next thing I need to do is I actually need to hook up the power for all of these reactors. And okay, so this one is power in, and I need to use this conduit right here. So I'm going to need this and a bunch of flux duct, obviously. Once again, I'm going to need to get rid of all these stupid connections because I don't need them. And then I need to figure out a way to run this conduit. So I think what I'm going to do is something like this and then run it down that way. On these reactors, I am not going to pump in another source of power other than this conduit, which is hooked up to the other reactor's outputs. Okay, so this one should be getting some power, and that works fine, so that's good. And that reactor should start once it gets hot enough. And then we just need to do the same with the other reactors. And this one is also heating up. Let's see if this reactor has started. It looks like it has. It's not producing any power, as kind of expected. It should definitely take it a while. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to deny all of the connections except one. Okay, so let's hook up the other reactors. And let's see here. We'll do kind of the same thing over here. Run this across. And we do not want this to interact with this conduit right here. So we need to kill that kill that connection. Now we can just run this across. Okay, and once again, I'm going to deny all the connections except one to the fusion reactor. And I see another connection that I need to get rid of. And that would be right here. Okay, so I might need to do the same thing over here. I probably just missed it. Yep. Because I want them to be separate, the two lines. Okay, so that looks good. This reactor is producing no power so far. This one is probably producing no power so far. Kind of thought so. And this reactor over here actually might be producing power because this fuel combination is just so good. So I will need to find a place for this helium, and I need to keep that in mind. Actually, several of these reactors probably produce some helium. So everything looks good so far. It looks like everything is being extracted except for the helium, which has nowhere to go. Let's check these other reactors. They probably have helium as well. Okay, so this fuel combination might last so long that I don't have any byproducts yet. Or else it's, actually, you know what? I can double check this. What's this? Lithium 7, lithium 7? So, yes, it does produce helium and neutron fluid. Obviously, it's not yet used any fuel, and it's been running a little while. So that fuel combination does last quite a while. This fuel combination has produced some helium. So we're going to have to get a helium tank. That's not a big problem, though. This is going to be kind of the same process as before. So I need a placeholder tank. Let's just grab this. And then we need some filters. And I'm not sure how many I need. I'm just going to grab 5. And obviously this, I need the permanent tank as well. So let's grab another black hole tank. I don't have plastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some plastic because I actually have plastic in my old base. And then I'm going to be right back. And I'm back. I do have everything I need now. I had something like 18,000 plastic over my old base, which is pretty fantastic. So that's more than enough. So let's go ahead and get rid of those. I don't think we'll need to hook up that conduit right here. So I should just need the 2 filters. I will need a way to access the behind. So what I'm going to do is let's get rid of those 2 blocks of cobalt. Let's place down our temporary tank. And I didn't actually need to do that. That'll go there. We need to place a filter in the bottom here, and this should say helium. So let's get some helium, or type in helium rather. It will be the regular helium this time, not the special helium-3, which is actually a really good fusion fuel. And then this one also needs to be helium. Okay, so when we take this tank away and replace it with the real tank here, it should start filling up with helium, which is fantastic. And because helium is not used as a fusion fuel, I don't need to extract it anywhere, I don't think, so that's cool. Okay, so actually let's replace this block real fast. That was dumb. So I think this block goes down here. There we go. And I can spruce that up later. So let's go back up here. And let's see if everything seems to be hunky-dory. So this one is already approaching 100%, or its efficiency is rapidly rising because this fuel combination does not require very much heat at all. This combination, this combination does require quite a bit more heat, but it's only at 1%. That's crazy. This combination probably requires quite a bit of heat. It's a 0% still. And this one is definitely a 0% still. So one thing we will need to do is we will need to cool these reactors. So let's get some active cooling. And I'm probably going to be using water on these guys because if I were to use helium, since these reactors are so small, it would be way too much cooling. So let's get some water, and we don't need the best water source block. So let's grab a bunch of these. And let's start by working on this reactor right here, the deuterium-tritium combination. So if we were to do this, how much cooling do we get? Okay, so 8%. That is not bad at all. Does this start to fill up its tank? It does not. Okay, so that's a little bit unfortunate. I think what I'm going to do is see if we can't make this a little bit more efficient here. Okay, so that should be 16%. That's better. Okay, so I've never tried this, and I'm a little bit worried that this is going to cause mayhem, but let's try this. Does it cool both? I think it does. That's cool. That'll make things a little bit easier here. I was worried that I was going to like crash the server or something. I shouldn't have been worried. This mod's a really cool mod. Oh, also, one thing I totally spaced out, and I should have mentioned at the beginning of the episode, is on my reactor on the second floor there, in that episode I kind of had issues getting the different fuel, or getting this to run like it should, as in it was producing only helium-3. And what I did was I updated the NuclearCraft mod to the most current version, and it fixed itself. So it started producing the tritium, the helium-3, and the what's the third byproduct? I forget. And the hydrogen and the neutron fluid. It started producing all of that stuff like it should. It produced power like it should. Obviously, it's producing a lot more power now. So yeah, that's nice that this mod gets upcapped very well. So I'm definitely super happy about that. So unfortunately, there's not super room on this side for that. Okay, so okay, where are we at as far as cooling? Still not really super close. I might have to go with helium or something because I don't really have enough space to make more or put in more cooling. You know what I might do? Rather than having these here, I might run some conduits from them. I think that's what I'm gonna have to do because there's just not enough space otherwise. So first off, these are the best blocks to do because they cool magnets for 2 different reactors. So let's do something like this. Let's grab some conduits. Actually, let's grab some fluid duct, and that's because I know that these will automatically push water into the fluid duct. So I don't need to set up any IO or anything. Okay, so I don't have obsidian over here. That's not cool. So let's use hardened fluid duct. And we'll need to set up water here. Let's see if we have enough throughput here. And I'm not sure that these water sources will be good enough. That's another thing I'll have to keep an eye on. It looks like it is, because our water supply has gone up. Okay, so let's see here. Cooling at 1400, and that should be the same. Yes, I did not mean to do that. Let's do the same thing over here. Okay, so once again, the same thing over here. Okay, and obviously, I don't have anywhere else to put these. Okay, so let's see where we're at right now. 3,600, we're still short. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to replicate this setup that this reactor has all the way around to the other reactors, and then I'm going to be right back. And here we are. We have the same setup on all of the reactors. They are all stuck at 3,800 cooling, which we need to get to 5,000. So we're going to have to find a way to do that. Now, the thing is, we do have a little bit more access if we come down here, and we'll have to go ahead and do that, it looks like. So let's see here. We do have plenty of space down here. Unfortunately, it's a little cramped. So what I'm going to do is, let's actually go over here to this reactor. And I'm just going to kind of blow up the floor here because I need to be able to see what I'm doing down here. Unfortunately, it's a little bit of pain. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is let's get some more water, compact water blocks, and then some active coolers here. And we're not going to need this anymore. So I think what we're going to do is, in the corners, I'm going to stick these water blocks. And I'm going to do that in all of the corners here. I need to make sure that this is off and off. Cool. Water, and then this one also needs to be off and off, and then same thing over here. Okay, so where are we at? We're actually above where we need to be, which is fantastic. I was a little bit worried we weren't going to get there. Okay, so we're at 5,400. Where does that take us? 52. Okay, so we just need to do 3 of the corners on the bottom side, and it looks like that'll be where we need to be. 5,000. That is perfect. So once again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replicate this setup to the other reactors, and then I'm going to be right back. Okay, I have all of these reactors all set up now, and they're running, and I shouldn't have to touch them from here on out. Let's just check a few things first off. This reactor is actually almost completely up to heat. As I said before, it does not require a whole lot of heat to run this fuel combination, and it does produce a boatload of power. Look at that. It is producing almost as much power as my hydrogen fusion reactor that is a toroid size 5 reactor. This one is a minimum size 1. So this thing produces a lot of power. Obviously, you need that tritium to be able to run it, and tritium is a little bit harder to make than, say, deuterium or hydrogen. But anyways, that's cool. So this is at 92% efficiency. Meanwhile, this one over here, the probably unfeasible reactor, is at 0% efficiency and is producing a measly 13 RF per tick at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm actually probably going to go away for like a day and see if this thing heats up completely, because like I said, it does require a lot of heat. This reactor is already about 3 times as hot as the other reactor we were just looking at. That's at 1760 MK megakelvin. This one's at 677 kilokelvin. 677,000 kilokelvin. My bad. So yeah, this one's about 3 times the heat, and it is still at 0% efficiency. Oh, we're at 14 RF per tick. Watch out, world. And this one over here is actually producing, some power. Because this is a feasible fuel right here, hydrogen and molten lithium. It is definitely something to be considered if you don't want to run a hydrogen reactor, as it runs through molten lithium a lot slower than it does the hydrogen, because it only uses 144 millibuckets per operation rather than 1,000 as it does for the gases. But anyways, so this is a decent fuel combination. We'll see where that gets us at some point, probably in a day or so. And this one over here is also producing quite a bit of power, and is getting there efficiency-wise, only at 44% so far, but it will get there. And this one will produce quite a bit of power as well. So these 4 fusion reactors are nice and they're getting hot, I should say. So that's cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go away for like a day, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to check on particularly this reactor, because I want to see how much RF it produces once it gets up to 100% efficiency. And that's going to take quite a while. So I will see you in like a day or so. And now it is a day later, and all of these reactors are up to either 98 or 99% efficiency. First off, let's check in with the best reactor here. It is producing almost 160,000 RF per tick, and that should be actually 160,000 RF per tick should be 100% efficiency. If we see right here, the temperature has completely leveled off. And so let's move on to the next one. The deuterium helium reactor is also at 99% efficiency. It is a little bit further off of its, I'm guessing 128,000 RF per tick, which is probably its cap, but it's almost there. And then the hydrogen lithium 6 reactor is also at 99%. It is producing 63,800 RF per tick, which is a pretty decent amount, especially considering hydrogen is typically it's typically a pretty good fusion fuel, but it burns very quickly. But with the lithium 6, it actually does not burn that quickly. So that's pretty good. But this reactor, which is the crappy one that I set up on purpose to be crappy, is only producing almost 3,000 RF per tick. It is currently at 98% efficiency. I'm guessing it'll get up to about 3,000 RF per tick when it's at 100% efficiency. But that could yet be a while until it reaches that, so I think 98% is good enough. At this energy generation figure, it is actually probably just barely viable in this configuration, and that is only because it shares electromagnets with some of the other fusion reactors. If it was a standalone reactor, I don't think it would be enough to cover the energy costs of the electromagnets, and therefore it would be an unprofitable fusion reaction. I'm not completely sure, as I haven't done the math, to be honest. But anyways, so that's what I did in today's episode. I built these 4 fusion reactors. I filled them with different fuel combinations, 4 different fuel combinations. And as we see, 3 of them are perfectly viable, and one of them, actually 2 of them, are pretty great. One of them is exceptionally great, and then we have this reactor down here, which has a terrible fuel combination of lithium-7 and lithium-7. But anyways, if you liked today's episode, definitely give it a like. If you like watching automation and modded Minecraft, consider subscribing to my channel, because that's kind of what I do. Anyways, signing off, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.